Hopefully it's not a lot of noise in the background. There might be. Ron's cooking some steaks right now. And I'm sitting here. You guys can't see him, but he's in a swing. Very comfortable right now, but who knows? He might start crying. I wanted to make a quick video before dinner. Just because I went to my dentist appointment. I've officially been, this is my second week? No, almost third week postpartum. So like 2 and some days. Sunday, which was, today's Wednesday, so Sunday was my official 2-week postpartum. I had a dentist appointment yesterday that I went to, and my dentist came in and she was like, how old is the baby? Only 2 weeks. And she's like, and you gave birth naturally? Yes. Oh my god, girl, like, I can't believe you're here. I was in bed for about a month when I gave birth to my daughter, and she asked me about my epidural and all this other stuff, and like the pain and my recovery. And I have to admit that during the whole giving birth thing, I kind of didn't want to throw in the towel and opt for an epidural because I heard that it might affect the baby, and thankfully it didn't affect him at all. He was wide awake and he was very responsive and everything when he was born. My fear was that the chemicals were going to get into him. But that didn't happen. So, or maybe some did, but it didn't affect him in the way that I thought it was going to affect him. But that was my main concern about using drugs. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cared, and I would have been like, whatever gets him out the quickest. So that was my main concern. And of course, epidurals do come with side effects, you know, lower back pain and other stuff that is like really, really low risk. But it does have a risk of having some severe side effects. So I took all that into consideration before making my decision. And at that point, if you guys saw my last video, it was very important to get him out quicker rather than later. So I made the choices that I made, but I felt, and I'm still dealing with baby blues here and there. It's a lot better than it was the first couple of days that I had him. I don't feel as sad, and I feel more optimistic every day that goes by. I haven't cried in like 2 or 3 days, so that's good. But I felt like I failed or threw the towel when I was at 4, almost 5 centimeters, and I was like, give me the epidural because I was losing it. And her comment to me was she got an epidural at 1 centimeter. She couldn't handle the pain at all. I had went through labor. I was laboring for a good 24 hours. And when the pain initially started, I shrugged it off as cramps. I don't know what contractions should feel like. So from this description of it, it didn't match what I was expecting, I guess. So I didn't know that I was in labor for that long. And I even went out to have lunch with friends, and I was uncomfortable, but I was dealing with it. And the discomfort kept on coming and coming until I just couldn't ignore it anymore. And I was like, okay, these might be contractions. Especially when they started being like consistent and 7 minutes apart. I'm like, oh, these are getting closer and stronger. It's a contraction. But yeah, you guys heard the story of that already. But she was telling me how her and her assistant were like, you're a real woman. She was saying all kinds of like statements like that because I guess they both had issues with giving natural birth, and one of them just opted to have a how do you call it? Like a C-section, a voluntary, I guess, C-section. She asked for it. And then the other one did natural birth, but she demanded to get, and she had to pull some syringes to get an epidural at 1 centimeter, because technically you're not supposed to get it until you're at 4. So they're like, you did an awesome job, and you do have a high tolerance for pain. And they know this already because when I was getting these teeth done, I decided to get 7 teeth pulled out at the same time, because I didn't want to go through the recovery again. I wanted to do it all just at once. But anyways, it was really nice to hear, because I felt like I failed, I guess, in a way, because I honestly really wanted a natural birth, like no drugs or anything. But for his best interest and my best interest, it was just better to get the epidural, because it allowed me to open up way faster and get him out faster, and allowed me to relax. And I had been up for 24 hours already, in pain and just trying to cope and at that point I had hit my breaking point. So I don't regret it. I felt a little bit of, like I said, disappointment in myself, but when I was talking to them about it, it was nice. So I'm touching on two things in this video. One is, I guess, the pressure that most women feel to do the best thing for their baby, and the best thing that you're told is to do a natural birth, and if you can't do it, you're somehow like a failure, or you did something wrong, or there's like a stigma with it. And I have to admit that not knowing what to expect, I was super confident that I could do it, and then now that I couldn't, like I said, I've never been one to not admit when I'm wrong, and I was completely wrong. Everybody's different. I've seen women go through it and are able to handle it and just push on through, literally. But me, I was at losing my mind in pain. Okay, so, and if you guys saw, I think I felt one contraction. That wasn't even a big one. Like, it got far worse, and I didn't videotape a lot because I was in a lot of pain and I was very worried about Artemis and stuff. So I didn't film a lot. The other thing I want to touch on while we're talking about stigmas and people shaming each other, and I've noticed that this happens a lot with parenting in general, is breastfeeding. I am 2.5 weeks postpartum, and I am no longer breastfeeding. I breastfed him for the first couple of days, and then I had to supplement with formula, and then I had to pump, and even that wasn't going so well. And I have to say, for those women that are dedicated to breastfeeding and pumping religiously every day, 2 hours every day, like 8 to 10 times, good for you. That's awesome. I was feeling, it was adding to my baby blues, I guess, because I felt like I was failing because he wasn't latching on right, and I wasn't producing as much milk as I thought I would, or as much as his hunger demanded. And I was really kicking myself for it. And then Ron's like, it's okay. He's healthy. He's growing. His appointments have been good. Like, we're doing fine. And he's right. I don't know why I keep being so hard on myself about it. And I read blogs, and comment section is always crazy with people like pro breast and people like pro formula, and like everybody's just tearing each other down and saying that you're selfish or you're lazy or whatever if you don't breastfeed. But some people just can't, and some people choose not to. So if you don't want to and you choose to do formula, why is that a bad thing? I know that breast is best, and that's fine, but formula is fine too. Otherwise, babies would be sick every day, all day, and formula wouldn't even be an option if it wasn't safe. I might get some shit for this video, and that's fine. I always expect it whenever I say my opinion, but honestly, if I could have breastfed him and have him latch onto my breast, I would have done it for longer, and I would have wanted to continue doing it for 6 months to a year, but he wouldn't latch on. I tried, and then the suggestion of that lady telling me to cut his tongue, the bottom of his tongue, so he can actually latch on better, was like ridiculous to me. I would never hurt my son just for that. So, I was kind of kicking myself for it, and now that my milk is actually drying up, and you guys can see my pump back there, I only have to pump twice a day now. I don't get a lot of milk, and I still give it to him. My doctor didn't give me any shit for it. She was just like, it's fine as long as you keep trying to pump and stuff, and whatever you do get in him, that's perfectly fine. But something is better than nothing is what she told me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, my milk, I noticed that when I have him close to me, I let down, like I'll leak, and so I try to keep him close, and I pump and stuff, but it's been going down, and I haven't really actively tried to take the teas or do all this hoopla to try to get my supply back up and to do a stockpile and all this stuff that all these girls do on the internet or that I hear on blogs and stuff. I didn't do any of that. I'm recovering and I'm sleep deprived, and sometimes at night when I'm doing his night feedings and I'm rocking him and I feel myself falling asleep, it scares the shit out of me. It scares the shit out of me, and I wake up wrong because I don't want to hurt him because I'm so sleep deprived. So I'm doing what's best for me right now, and for me is trying to recover and trying to function properly and not put him in danger because I am not getting enough rest because I'm 24 hours a day taking care of him, trying to pump a million times, and it might sound like an excuse, and that's fine. I don't really give a shit what other people think. At first I was like, what are people going to say? I don't know why I care so much now about what people are going to say, because I don't want people to think that I'm a bad mother. But then again, I have to do what's best for me and what's best for him. And what's best for both of us right now is for me to not go insane and for me not to hurt him because I fell asleep with him in my arms or what have you. So I've been trying to get rest. Ron's been really good about giving me breaks, and we've been doing the whole I take the night shift, he takes the day shift kind of thing. But then that crosses into one another's shift because sometimes I'm just like last night he woke up at 1 in the morning. I couldn't get him back to sleep. I was like dying of like sleep. I was falling asleep while I was cradling him, and I had to wake Ron up and tell him, hey, I need help. And he stayed up with me until like he decided to go back to sleep. Artemis went back to sleep like around 4 in the morning, and then he woke up again like at 6 to eat some more. So it's like, you know, so it could sound like an excuse. I really don't give a shit, but I'm telling you, the first time moms out there, if you don't do something that you planned on doing, don't kill yourself for it because it's a waste of time and you're making yourself feel bad for nothing. Either way, you're doing the best thing that you can for your kid and for yourself. So everything that you read and all the comments that people say and anybody's personal opinion, they can go shove it up their ass. As long as your baby's okay and you're okay, and maybe you were wrong. Like, I was wrong about a lot of things. I wanted to do a lot of things differently, but hey, the cards were dealt the way they were dealt, and I was sad at first, but now I'm starting to feel a lot more better. I'm starting to feel a lot stronger, and I'm starting to not kill myself and feel regret because that's a waste of time. So right now what I'm trying to do is recover, enjoy my baby, make sure that I'm trying to function as much as I can without that much sleep until I get him on some kind of schedule or get him on some kind of rhythm, because right now he keeps going through like growth spurts here and there, and he eats sometimes 2 ounces, sometimes 3, and then he'll wake up again an hour later and want to eat more, and I notice that he goes through periods of 1 or 2 days where he's just like wants to eat a lot. And he's gained about almost 2 pounds and a half inch. So he's growing. He's 2.5 weeks and he's showing a lot of promise. So I just wanted to make this video. If I get crap for it, I'm sorry. Not sorry. But yeah, I just wanted to let all the other women out there who couldn't breastfeed for whatever reason, or for a first-time mom and kind of feeling crappy about it and are like really feeling down on yourself and really being hard on yourself for it, just don't do it. You're doing the best that you can. You just gave birth, for God's sake. Like, you can't be Superwoman and do it all. Sometimes our bodies are just not meant to do all that. And I've put my body through hell the past 2 years, like, with all these changes. So it is what it is. And so far right now I'm still making sure I'm still pumping enough to put an ounce, and that's not a lot, I guess. Almost an ounce almost every feeding, but not all feedings have breast milk in it. So I'm trying. But anything is better than nothing, right? So I guess is just a quick update, although it's not that quick because it's like 15 minutes. But I will see you guys soon.